Stream. All right. We're live. We are officially live. I think I even am using the wrong... Yep, I'm using the wrong thumbnail. But that's okay. That is a fix. It's a pretty easy fix. Not to worry. Anyways...
There's one thing I never...
Welcome to the season finale of GTN. As always, I'm your host, Mr. Elijah Leonard. To my left, that is Wyatt Walker, and to the very bottom, that is, if you're watching this on YouTube to clarify, that is Nathan Stapleton joining us once again.
My second random appearance. Hello.
The second random
That's
appearance.
more than anyone else.
Yeah, yes, exactly. More than anybody. And by anybody, we mean Josh, too.
Anyway.
Because he was the only other person that did come on to the show. Okay.
Jessica did. Jessica came on.
Oh, yeah. For a little bit. For a little bit. All right. So, I'm just gonna throw this around all over the dis of chords, and I believe we should be good to go on trying to get the last episode of the year underway. This is the beauty of having to delay the last episode, is that we're on the off season, so we could take as long as we needed, and here we are. So, anyways, let's talk about it, guys. Let's review the championship weekend that took place this past weekend. Starting off with trucks. Of course, overall, I'd say, like, despite the decent amount of racing that we've been getting, the championship picture was just extremely predictable.
Yeah. The racing was pretty good. It was all back and forth. I will say there is one common theme between all the drivers who won championships, but we'll get to that here shortly.
Yes.
But sorry if I'm kind of distracted. I realize I have not messed with any point stuff, so I'm probably going to be a bit distracted on a little bit, but
then again, points really don't matter in this scenario anymore.
I mean, points don't matter, but I gotta I'm that way. I still gotta mess with, gotta tinker with some shit, and they're probably gonna start messing with for the next season. But
yeah.
Anyways, what I can recall from the race, I do not remember much of it, but it was back and forth. Zane Smith won both stages. He dominated that. Zane Smith dominated that race.
He put a whooping on everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Like, out of the 154 laps that were ran, which some were, the final, 4 laps were overtime, or whatever odd amount of laps are overtime. Yeah, he led basically half the race, essentially. Yeah. I mean, what more could you really say?
Not a lot more you could say. He not only won that, but he also won the championship. And Zane Smith is our 2022 Truck Series champion.
Hey, third time was the charm.
And I will say I was really happy for Zane Smith. Like, he dominated the race, and I was like, okay, well, if he doesn't win the race this time, even though he dominates, and I don't know. I don't know. But fast truck at Phoenix, third time was the charm, and I was happy with it. Zane Smith finally a truck champion, and I was happy.
I was too. Zane Smith, when me and Elijah did our championship predictions for Truck Series, I went with Smith. I went with Zane, and he went with Chandler. And I think that I don't know what they didn't finish 1-2 because somehow Ben Rhodes made a crazy turn
Hard
of events
charge.
play. Yeah, hard charge play, and ended up taking second, but couldn't take first. I mean, from Zane Smith.
I
Yeah.
probably want to low skit.
I never really asked about this before we done this, but do we want to like do a I take care of trucks. One of you two take expand, the other one take cup.
I'll take Cup.
Finishing results.
I'll take
Okay,
Cup.
do you mind? Do you mind taking over the Xfinity?
I gotcha. I gotcha.
All right, thank you. So let's go over the Truck Series finishes real quick. Of course, we mentioned Zane Smith is our 2022 Truck Series championship, as he should be. Ben Rhodes, our last year's champion, can come home runner-up. Chandler Smith, who will now be going to the 16 next year for Color Racing, finished third. Good finish for him. John Harnemechek finished fourth. Stuart Friesen gets fifth. Rand Infinger sixth. Corey Heim, our 2022 Rookie of the Year, who finishes seventh. Tanner Gray eighth. Caden Honeycutt finishes ninth. Good. That's a pretty good run for him.
Yeah, for On Point Motorsports, it's a really impressive run.
Yeah. Your boy Carson Hocevar comes back with a top 10. Got Derek Kraus, 11th. Matt Crafton, 12th. Lane Riggs making his, I believe, second appearance.
It sounds like third.
Is it second or third? It's a third? I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I think it was third.
Oh, and I have something to say about Lane Woods. He is really, really impressive. I think he started second in that race, and I think in stage one he was contending for the race lead for most of it. And Lane Woods, I really hope he gets a full-time line next year because I am very impressed of what he did this year in his couple of starts I did, and maybe a second Friesen truck. I don't know, but I would like to see that kid have a ride because he was that fast in all three of his starts, I think.
Honestly, and you bring that up, I think the whole time the 62 truck has been on track, it has been pretty decent or fast.
With every other driver except Todd Bodine.
I mean, no offense to Todd Bodine, but he
crashed his final start.
And before he raced it was like since I think 2013 or 2014 since he raced or something like that.
Yeah.
But I do agree. I hope he gets that right, and I hope it's this car. And who knows if they want to do a third car for Jessica Friesen for like doing the dirt tracks and stuff. Maybe they'll get a third car. Who knows? But I do think Lane Riggs.
The third truck could be a 72.
Exactly. It's exactly the number I was thinking too. Or go bull do 82. I don't know, but all in all, I do. But I do agree with Nathan, and I think Lane Riggs should have a full-time ride, and hopefully Stuart Friesen. But continuing on, Tyler Ankrum gets 14th, Colby Howard 15th, Jake Garcia 16th in the 35, Taylor Gray finished 17th, ironically, same as his number. Wallace Alves finishes his rookie season in 18th, Chase Purdy 19th, Ty Majeski, who's the fourth Final Four member. I think he got spun by who was that? Who was it that spun it? Was it Chandler? Was it Chandler? What? No, he tried. No, he was side by side with. I think it was. Was it Chandler or Zane, or was it? It wasn't Ben. I know that, but
maybe it was Zane Smith.
Was it Zane Smith?
Yeah.
He was trying to fight with Zane Smith. He got loose and he went head on. His truck was fine. He was able to continue, but he was out of the championship. He hit the inside wall in the back stretch, and his championship hopes was done.
It sucked. That sucked to
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. So he still finished top 20th, but that's not the result we wanted him to see out of it. Dean Thompson finishes up his rookie season, 21st. Matt Bedell comes home 22nd. Tyler Hill 23rd. Austin Wade Self 24th. Then Blaine Perkins, Chris Hacker, Timmy Hill, Johnny Sauter, Jack Wood, Christian Eckes. We got Elijah's girl, Haley Deegan, finished 33rd after being wrecked after her final race.
I hated
And
that.
you talk. Speaking of Elijah's girl, how about Elijah's other guy?
Well, it's not just
Raja
my
Caruth.
guy. Not just mine.
Well, just the NR. I guess the NR community's guy,
Yeah.
Raja Caruth.
That sucks,
He
though.
unfortunately got 32nd.
Yeah.
Spencer Boyd 33rd. Keith McGee. I've never heard that name yet.
McGee. Keith McGee.
Yeah. And then how the hell do you
Armani
say this
Williams.
name? Armani Williams.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the that. And if you look, and even though it don't really matter all that much, you look at the Truck Series points there for the finishing results. Zane Smith is the champion. Corey Heim is the Rookie of the Year. And yeah,
Well,
that's about it on that.
well, hold on. Let them actually get a nice little sneak peek. Wow, look at that. Points! Even though it's the Final Four is like, whose line is it anyway, where the points really don't matter.
Yeah. So you have to fix all this real quick. And after all that's good and done, now we go to Xfinity, where Nathan, take it away.
Yeah. Well, the theme continues. Xfinity is dominated by pretty much one guy and one guy only. Jesus himself, self-proclaimed Jesus, Ty Gibbs in the number 54. I think he won both stages and the race to go on and win the championship. And then Gregson in second, Allgaier in third, and Josh Bailey in 13th. Bailey, I think he crashed at some point. And
no, I think what happened was something happened to him. I think something happened to him, and then he just lost a whole bunch of spots.
Because Bailey was
he hit the wall.
Oh yeah,
I thought it was he hit the wall.
Yeah. So unfortunate for Bailey, but that is what it is. And I said this in some of the discourse after the race, and like everyone was saying this too. Somehow Dream Motorsports had 3 cars in the Final Four, and they and they let the JGR car win. But Tigers with the win, 125 laps led, half the race, dominated. And then 1 to 3, Gibbs, Grayson, Allgaier. 4th was Landon Castle. 5th was AJ Omnia. 6th is Sheldon Creed. 7th was Wiley Hopes. 8th was Daniel Hemlett. 9th was Austin Hill. And 10th is Sammy Smith.
Good run for Sammy, though.
I have to go on a tangent about Sammy Smith. Every race that he did, he was up front in the top 5, top 10. Then bad luck struck, and he spun no crashed out. Sammy Smith might be my new Toyota guy that I like. I've had a history of Toyota guys liking who I've liked, like Bell, Eric Jones, just to name a few. And Sammy Smith might be my next guy that I like for Toyota. I think as of now, JGR has nothing announced for Xfinity for the program, with Brandon Jones going to Extreme Motorsports and then just then Tigers most likely going up to Cup. Even though that's not been announced yet, but everyone says that. I really want Sammy Smith in a JGL at Screen Code next season.
Yeah.
I think I could speak for both me and Elijah, and we've talked about in the past episodes, and we've agreed on this too. We think him and Nemechek should be either the first two or the main two in the
Mm-hmm.
in the roster for Joe Gibbs Xfinity.
Oh yeah, I think what they might do is have Nemechek and Sammy Smith, and then have the All-Star car. That's what I think they might do.
Yeah, they very well may do that.
Because I think
it's a good lineup.
Nemechek still is under a Toyota contract, not a KPM contract. Hence,
Yeah, that's what.
KPM announcement.
Yeah, that's
stuff.
yeah. That's why he's not racing for Cobblish Motors, which that's a good information we'll get later on down the line. I think that might be saved for last on the news, but
Maybe.
that's the main reason. Yeah, but that's the main reason why he's not racing with them, because he's under contract with Toyota, and it's more than likely he's going to be driving for Joe Gibbs Racing. That or Sam Hunt Racing.
I wouldn't mind. Either or. Oh boy,
So
no.
anyway, Lando's in 11th, Nick Sanchez in 12th. He's another guy I like. I'm disappointed that he's in trucks and not at Xfinity. That would be said later, but Nick Sanchez has also impressed me a lot this season in Xfinity for big machine racing. I'm excited for that team next year. 13th, Josh Berry. Kyle Leverman got 14th for Jesse Mitsubishi Motorsports. Ever since Leverman got in that car, it was way more faster than what Jesse was doing in that 34. 15th, Josh Williamson. I cannot speak. 15th, Josh Williams. 16th, Jeb Burton. 17th, Wachar Groove. There you go, Elijah. LeBay in 18th, Bailey Curley in 19th, Wanasek in 20th, Parker Wesloff 21st, Kyle Sieg in 22nd, Kaz Gowala in 23rd, Joey Gates 24th, Myatt Snyder 25th, Chris White in 26th, Jeremy Clements 27th, Stefan Parsons in 28th, Brian pulling out of the Groove, Eric Eastet sponsorship.
Yeah, I was going to mention something about that.
Go ahead.
I was going to mention, take a minute to talk about to bring the pool. Like, he kept his nose clean. He probably had a couple laps down, but he had no issues. Kept the car in one piece. And just to have, a YouTube for the second time in the Xfinity career, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm.
I know the one guy, I don't think we're going to name, he had sponsored for Ryan Sieg Racing for a couple years. And now
multiple years.
Only for 2, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think it was
that guy. Oh my gosh, that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Yep.
The guy that's not the name.
Yeah. And then you got E-Step, who's now sponsored. He's been doing associate sponsor, but he did a full-on sponsorship.
That was really cool.
Kept it clean. Kept it clean. I give it. I've never been a big pool fan, but you gotta give a pat on the back to make sure that car was clean.
Yes.
Anyways, you can continue.
I am going to say one thing, though, about the paint scheme. I'm never going to get that face out of my head now. I'm never going to be able to get it out of my head.
All right.
I'm going to... But yeah.
I'm going to plaster Eric's face on your car when I paint it, Nathan.
Oh, no.
Making a secondary paint scheme.
No.
I'll hide it somewhere. I'll hide it somewhere on the car.
Oh Jesus. No.
Tag Eric E step to it. Hey, you're now a sponsor to my NR team.
But yeah, never gonna see that face out of my head, but very good. Well, like you said, I watch his stuff all the time, so for me,
I think
it was really
all
cool.
three of us does.
From time to time, I will.
And then JJ Yaley, though, this point into the season after being surprisingly really good for most of the season for that NBM machine. 31st, Dawson Clam. 32nd, BJ McLeod. 33rd, Mason Massey. 34th, Sam Mayer. Sam Mayer is one I'm very looking forward to next season. For Gmo Sports, Anthony Alfredo, 35th. Joe Graff Jr., Taylor Rodder in 36th. William Brown in 37th. And then who was out with a suspension issue. And then the last guy was Dylan Bassett, who finished 38th and blew up. But I must say, somehow this team, they didn't really make that many races, but they brought a good car and qualified 12th at Venus and blew up. So
yeah, I was about to mention that. Like, I saw that name, and I'm like, I saw his name in like top 12. Like, how in the world did he qualify that good? And yeah, he
that. I just now noticed that. How did he qualify in the 12th position? Dylan Bassett. What? That is a Bassett racing car that you would not see up at the front of the field unless if it was Daytona or Talladega. But nope. Here they are. They come to Phoenix. They qualify 12.
And then I want to say the guy at DNQ that I am happy to say that he DNQ because I have an unknown reason why, but I hate this guy. Matt Mills DNQ that piece.
Oh gosh.
So I think we can all agree that we all don't think Ty Gibbs deserved this championship. None of us. None of us. After all he's done this year, all season, especially during the last few weeks, I don't think any of us agreed that he deserved this play. I actually think Noah Gregson deserved it, but here's why I'm going different. But here's why I'm actually defending it, and I think there's actually good reason why he won the championship.
Yeah.
The next few hours after he won, I think it was next few hours after the championship, what timestamp says. But that next day, we lost a member of the Joe Gibbs Racing family, and I'm not saying that because of the team. I'm saying that for Joe Gibbs himself.
Yeah.
He lost his second son, Coy Gibbs, aka Ty Gibbs' father. The day after he won championship, he lost his dad. I'm not sure we all like the kid. I don't think any of us does, but we all know that this was a good reason for him winning the championship.
Yeah.
So the 2 years that he's been in that spinning, I'm from liking the kid to not liking the kid to liking the kid to not liking the kid. But at the end of the day, I feel bad for Tigers. That's what happened. And I feel like, you know what? Let him have his moment. And then next year we can bash him all we want.
Agreed.
Be nice to him for the off season, and then once we get to Daytona,
we can
pick right back up where we left off.
Yeah. 100%. Especially when him taking, it's not confirmed, but we all know he's taking over to 18.
Oh no, they kept saying it over and over that he's going to.
They have kept saying it. It's not confirmed, but yet even not Dale Jarrett. I bet they said it too. But
Rick
Jeff
Allen,
Burton,
Steve Allen,
Jeff Burton. They've
all said but confirmed. It's all but announced at this point.
They talk about that Brave. I'm going off subject real quick, but it's going to match him. they said Bray Wyatt returning to WWE was the worst kept rumor, worst kept secret. This is the second worst. Actually, it's maybe the first one. I don't know, but
the number one worst.
exactly. But yeah, I just want to point that out. None of us really want him to win a championship. I know me and Elijah both picked Noah Gregson, but after what happened the next day, we just feel bad for the kid. And
of course, I mean, like a lot of some of the stuff that we were saying behind the scenes, of course, which ended up getting leaked elsewhere somehow. Yeah, a lot of it was just in the heat of the moment. I mean, do I still feel the same way that I do? Yes. But you gotta remember, there's like hundreds of thousands of other people that thought the exact same things that we were thinking, but yet some people decided to go after one person in particular, that being me. It's just like, why are you picking me out of the crowd, dude? Like, I'm not the only guy. If you're gonna go after me, you gotta go after the thousands of other people. Good luck with that.
And anyways, but yeah.
But yeah, that was the Experience series. Once again, I feel like everyone says this every year. A lot of people do. I love the Experience series in 2022. It's fast every week, and I really, really liked it. So we saw most weeks, and
yeah,
I'm excited for next year.
I honestly didn't care too much about the Xfinity Series season. I mean, like, I kept up with it, but I didn't care as much as some other people did. You know,
my thing is, like, I care about the Cup Series more than any other series, but I try to keep up with like as much information I can about all three series.
Yeah,
as much as I can to get the information going through. But I think we got one more series left, and I'm glad you're going to talk about it and not me.
Pain.
Oh.
Both me and I feel pain.
You see, honestly, as a Penske guy, I like it. So,
I'm a Penske guy. I'm half Penske. That's what I say. That I think I'm a third Penske.
I'm all Penske.
2/3. I mean, because I like two guys, but I hate one.
And the one is the guy we're going to be talking about. So he ended up completing the trifecta. And here's something else that I didn't even notice up until now. So all three of our champions started on the pole, led as many laps as they possibly could, dominated, and won the races and their championships.
Wow.
I did not know
and also, and to add on one more thing, even though Logano did not win the second stage, he bet that all champions basically just went 1, 2, 3 on 1, 2. Yeah,
they went haywire. So basically, the Cup race, the racing itself wasn't bad. The only thing that's pretty memorable about Phoenix, if it's a championship race, is of course the restarts. But there was only one incident that involved a championship contender, really two, but one had the most trouble, and that was Chase Elliott, who ended up getting basically turned on the restart by Ross Chastain. Not that Ross was meaning to turn Chase Elliott, but it pretty much affected Chase Elliott's run at the championship, ultimately eliminating him, but not out of the race. He still continued on, despite the fact that he had a pretty bent-up toe link that was bent back into place as best as they possibly could. But other than that, that pretty much was the only other incident that really took place. But it was an all Penske day. The top two, Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, they just ran away with the whole thing. Literally ran away with the entire thing. And Ross Chastain, man, we got to give him as much credit as we could possibly give him. Same thing goes to Christopher Bell, too. I mean, even though Christopher Bell didn't really lead a lot of laps, I mean, he didn't lead no laps, rather, he still was a pretty solid contender, I'd say. But I'd say Ross definitely had the best shot because I mean he was sending it every single lap, like driving the wheels off, literally, and it just wasn't enough, unfortunately. And Joey Logano dominates, leads 187 laps. And not only wins the race, he started the year off winning at the LA Coliseum, and he ends off 2022 as a two-time NASCAR Cup Series champion. And we can tell Wyatt is giving the thumbs up right now. He is so happy. Listen to that sigh of relief. Listen to that sigh of relief.
I hate
Wyatt.
oh my god.
When Logano said back in February, whenever he said 22 and 22, we should have listened.
He meant it. He meant every single word.
I never listened.
22.
I never listened to him. What you talking about?
Yes.
And sorry, I still don't want to listen to him. That's why I did. That's why I should.
Oh yeah.
That's why I turned off the TV.
Yeah, sorry, we're kind of in our own little trance. We're just kind of talking all race and shit, but hopefully you're having yourself a good evening. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and get over our finishing results. Joey Logano, the winner and the champion. Runner-up Ryan Blaney ends up started runner-up, finished runner-up, led 109 laps. Ross Chastain, after starting 25th, makes a pretty good rally all the way up through the race to third place. Chase Briscoe finishing in the fourth position. Kevin Harvick completed the top 5. And here's something else about Kevin Harvick. I saw this I think I saw it on Instagram. Let me go back and take a look at it. Hold up. Let me go ahead and I'm going to say it. I will say it. Kevin Harvick.
No, that's not what it was.
In the last 19 races at Phoenix, he has finished inside of the top 10. So he passed Dale Earnhardt and Richard Petty for the most consecutive top 10s at any track, which is unbelievable.
Another crazy stat for Kevin Harvick.
Another one, man. William Byron finishes in the... Anyways, William Byron finishes in the 6th position, Kyle Busch 7th, Denny Hamlin finishes 8th, Kyle Larson 9th, and Christopher Bell completes the top 10. Then we got Cindric, Allmendinger, Dillon, Austin Dillon to clarify, Jones, Truex, Custer, Hemrick, LaJoy, Burton, Eric Almirola completing positions 11th through 20th. From 21st to 30th, we have Christopher Buescher. Yes, I did say the full name by accident and decided to double down on it. Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, Daniel Suarez, Michael McDowell, Ty Dillon, Justin Haley, Chase Elliott, Todd Gilliland, and Cody Ware completing the top 30. And the final 6 finishers, BJ McLeod, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Garrett Smith, Alex Bowman, Brad Keselowski, and Landon Castle. The only 2 retirees are Keselowski and Castle.
And I just want to point a few things out. And first off, Keselowski. First of all, it's actually not Keselowski. Let's talk about Alex Bowman, who was able to come back, chose to come back, running decent, probably top 20. I don't remember where he was running. Yep. And then he gets wrecked. I mean, he still continued, but
I don't know what McDowell was doing. Like, that was one of the worst, like, things I don't know how to word, but like that was one of the worst accidental wrecks I've seen because he just turned Bowman off the turn 2. Like, it wasn't even close.
Yeah.
Also, to point out, I was trying to say Brad Keselowski, he actually had this electrical issue happen under caution.
Yeah.
We haven't had that since the second Darlington race. But the main thing I was... Sorry, what was that?
They need to fix that for the Fords. It's only the Fords, and they need to fix that.
Before I get to the Briscoe deal, hats off to Burton, Burton, Gilligan and Cedric for no longer being rookies are now going to be done with their rookie season. Pretty good season for all three of them. And Cedric got rookie of the year. Kyle Busch is will no longer be Joe Gibbs' final race. But the main thing I wanted to point out, let's get a hats off to Ross Chastain. First year with Trackhouse. Justin Marks took a chance on him. This is Trackhouse's second year in Cup Series, and they got runner-up in the Championship 4.
Yeah.
Almost, we're this close to being champions.
Like,
I just want to point that out there, because this is a legit. They were turned out to be the underdogs. They now became the most entertaining group. Then light it up to be potential championships.
yeah.
So close to being championships. Championship team.
Yes.
I just want to give a hats off to a bunch of these drivers, especially Ross Chastain and Team Trackhouse.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, they gave it their all this year. I mean, I think this is that I wasn't expecting them to be loud this year, but my gosh, they blew the doors out of my expectations, man. Especially with Chastain. I'm really happy to see the Suarez won. I'm happy to see that Ross was able to get a couple cup wins under his belt. So, I mean, hey, heck, chase appearances. And then, yeah, I mean, that is super crazy that we live in a world where a team that is co-owned by Pitbull almost won the championship.
And one more hats off to, we had 5 first-time winners this year. 5 first-time winners. If I forget a name, let me know. We got Austin Cindric was the first one. Then Chase Briscoe was the second. I think Ross Chastain was third. Daniel Suarez was fourth. And then Tyler Reddick.
No, I was happy about that. Very happy about
that. And out of all of them, Reddick was the one who got more wins than they won. He got 3, and Ross Chastain got 2. So.
I have to say something about Reddick.
Hold on. Not only that, I also have something to say about Reddick. 2 out of his 3 cup wins came in a weed car.
We know what he was doing.
Where were you, but
anyway,
so where were you, but
so Tyler, he might have had 3 wins, but as a Red fan, I had massive pain in the early part of the season. In my opinion, should have won Auto Club and should have won Bristol. But in my opinion, should have at least 5 wins. At least.
Yeah.
But I know OCR and that whole thing didn't work out. But Tyler, with what 2011 racing showed in the second half of the season, I am very nervous if I'm the rest of the competition for Tyler next year. Because 2011, Tyler and Bubba Wallace, they'll come into play next year. I almost guarantee it.
You mentioned Bubba Wallace. One more thing, we've tied the amount of different winners we've had in a season.
Yep.
With 19.
19 different winners.
And I thought we were going to get past that.
So did I. So did I.
Same here. I honestly thought drivers like Michael McDowell or Justin Haley would have made that final one.
Yeah.
But I thought MTJ or Blaine was going to get.
Oh yeah, them too. Well, if you want to say it, we don't normally people don't count the All-Star race, but Ryan Blaney did win the All-Star race.
Yeah. Blaine won, but not a point.
Yeah. And if you want to count that, you can also count Brad Keselowski winning the
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 duel.
first duel. Yeah.
And Chris Buescher, too. They
Well,
win the second
well,
duel.
I wasn't going to mention. I was mainly going to mention him winning the second Bristol race. Then,
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. He did win the second Bristol race.
yeah, that's why I didn't. That's why I didn't acknowledge that more than I acknowledged his Bristol win.
Well, all right. So, before we get down to some of our final thoughts, we have some news that we got to discuss here. First of which is mostly it's just a lot of team stuff. Let's get down to some of the big stuff here. Jimmy Johnson is back. It's confirmed that he has bought an ownership stake with Petty GMS. He is now a part owner and will run select cup races next year, starting with the Daytona 500. I gotta say, this is pretty big. This is honestly really big. Great to see Jimmy Johnson back. But not only that, if I'm gonna go ahead and go off on a hitch that the third car is gonna be a 44 car.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of stuff B44. The one thing I would love for it to happen. I would love for this to happen. I don't think it will, but I would like it to happen. I would love it if Hendricks lets Petty GMS have the 48. It may be part time, but do we really see Jimmy Johnson driving another car except the 48? I mean, come on. Yeah, that would be cool if they would just bring the 88 back for bring 88 back, or bring a number like 25. I think I mentioned 25 or a different number. If you're using the past or a new number like they did with the 9, bring it for Bowman and just swap those numbers out and let Jimmy Johnson drive the 48 for Petty GMS.
I don't know.
I don't think it's going to happen. But I wish that would happen.
Yeah.
I would like for that to happen, because I agree I can't see Jimmy in a not number 48, but I don't think he's going to give it up.
Yeah.
But maybe, who knows? It is Jimmy Johnson. It is 7-time. So
I mean,
he might have some sway in it. I don't know. But
you mentioned him being 7-time. 2 co-owners are going to be 7-time. There's a 14-time championships between 2 co-owners in one team.
Yeah. There really are, and that's crazy. I mean, think on the magnitude of that.
they might as well just call it 14-time most.
43,
I don't know.
48 racing.
But no, like
So what Gallagher's part of it got to be on that then?
43, 48 GMS racing. I don't know.
48, 43, 42 GMS. But all right. So now that news is out of the way.
Oh, I have something to say about the whole Jimmy Johnson news. Real quick. So I like the news. I was not expecting it. It is a massive bombshell, but I think it's going to help improve Page US and potentially go up another step next year.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Because we saw with GMS taking majority ownership and stuff this year, and the next gen car, the 43 car is amazing. 42, the Thailand, but the 43 Barrett Jones was amazing this year.
Yeah.
And I feel like adding Jimmy Johnson, he might not have any experience in the next gen car, but he can help out like Eric Jones and Earl Gregson, especially the Cup Series ways, and have experience and have a guy to lean on and be like, hey, so and so this, or like, try this out and stuff like that. And I think Jimmy's gonna help out a lot, especially with Gregson and Eric Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Jimmy can help Gregson not throw up in the car every time he wins. Yeah.
And also, and one more thing I find ironic, when Jimmy Johnson was retiring, everyone's always thought that Noah Greggs was going to take over the 48. Everyone thought he was going to take it over. Everyone's made jokes and stuff. Well, A, he drove the 48, and I think he did okay in it. And B, he's now working with Jimmy Johnson.
The irony.
In Pet Jimenez. I just about to say the irony is so funny. But now I got small little bits of news here. I'm trying to make sure I didn't get all the ones in the past, but Sheldon, I don't think we talked about this. Sheldon Creed's back.
Thank
Did we
goodness.
talk about him back at RCR?
I think so. I
Did we
think we
talk-
did.
Did we?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember all we talked about because I think we recorded on a Tuesday. And I
Yeah,
don't remember.
we talked about Creed coming back. We talked about Austin Hill coming back. Well, basically driving the 62 for 6 races next year.
Oh yeah. Well, that one actually wasn't revealed. That was actually part of the last week.
No, yeah.
This one came out. So, yeah. There's confirmed about Sheldon Creed now coming back to the 2. Menard's going to Junior Motorsports.
Yep.
Kevin Starland, the crew chief of Ryan Sieg, is retiring.
Yeah.
Cowboy.
Huh?
Cowboy. That's his name.
Oh, Cowboy. Yeah. Cowboy.
Yeah.
That's his nickname. I can't remember. We have the big news. I want to save that one kind of for last. Trying to see if there's anything else we mentioned that news.
Well, I was just
here we go.
I was just
go
about
ahead.
to get
Sorry.
to it. I don't know if this is what you were looking at, but this was before Nathan said, "Hold on, I got something to say." Rev Racing is expanding up to the truck series full time with Kyle Busch Motorsports being their technical partner. And he did bring up something about Nick Sanchez, and Sanchez is driving the number 2 next year. So here's the thing that I feel about this. This is honestly a good move because, I mean, as good as Nick Sanchez did in his sporadic Xfinity Series starts here and there, the last thing that you want to do is bring him up full time and then come to realize, oh, a lot of those good finishes was just nothing but hype and whatever it was. So for him to go down to the truck series to have a full run, maybe a full season or maybe even 2 that down there, I think is definitely going to it's definitely going to give him a little bit more experience, and it's definitely going to give him a little bit more feel for how competitive some of these other national touring series really are compared to ARCA. So I mean, I can't wait. I'm excited for this one.
If you want to say that, then should we be worried about Sammy Smith then?
Well, here's the thing. I feel like Joe Gibbs. Alright, so Toyota's new team Toyota always has a new team. The lineup's always set. And I think Sammy Smith always showed enough potential in his Xfinity stills that I think he should just stay in Xfinity. Because let's be honest, Schwartz is not for everyone. Take that for Haley Deegan, for example. First start in Xfinity, I know that was probably a MSHR built as a screenlight car, but Deegan did a fantastic job in the first Xfinity start.
Yeah. So
I feel like it's just all up to Schwartz is not for everyone. Gragson was not that good in Gragson's not really good in Gragson, yeah. Gragson's not really good in Schwartz, but Gragson lit the world on fire once he got to Xfinity. So maybe it might be good for Sammy Smith. So that's wait and see.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that team. You look at the font of that team. I swear, I'm going to get mixed up and thinking it's a GMS truck.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm wrong.
No.
Because that is. It looks like
identical.
the 2.
It's identical.
Yeah, it is. But that's not what that wasn't what I was going to. I was actually going to mention that on the other news, but let me see here. There is that one. Get to that news. I guess might as well just go with this final news that will lead up to it. Brian Patty will not be the crew chief for JTV Daughtery, and it will be Mike Kelly will be the new crew chief for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. For JTV Daughtery Racing.
All right.
And mainly because Brian Patty will join Kyle Busch Motors as the crew chief in 2023, and he will be the crew chief for the drivers who will be doing part-time in the 51.
And speaking of that, the driver lineup has officially been announced. Of course, the 51 will have a rotation of drivers, including Kyle Busch. But Chase Purdy's going full time for them, driving the number 4. So, wow.
And just to let you know, this is the big news.
This is the biggins. Which, yes, I mean, I think this is gonna be. I think this might be a good move for Chase Purdy. I think this could be the time where he gets a pretty good break. I don't think he'll win as many times or win a sporadic amount of races that John Hunter Nemechek did last year. Or I think he might win as many as Nemechek won this year, which is what, 2 wins. So I mean, it's possible. I could be wrong on Chase Purdy though. He might have a breakout season next year, but we'll see.
I don't know. Ever since Chase Purdy got into this, I've always been iffy about him. He hasn't really been showing up, and I like how Kyle Busch is taking chances on drivers like him, but I honestly feel like he's going to be another what's his name?
Another what's his name?
Raphael
Lassard.
Oh. Raphael Lassard.
Well, he's not Chase Purdy.
I was thinking Dylan Kwasniewski, but that's okay.
I've never liked the guy. The way I see it, he only gets all these good opportunities because he has money from Bama Buggies. But then again, that's a lot of people. But he was at GMS. GMS had like 3, 4, 5 trucks at one time. Never got in focus. Yeah. Hattori, 2 trucks. I feel like that kind of hurt Hattori a little bit. And I don't think Chase Purdy was the main focus. I think Tyrington was a little bit higher of a focus than Chase Purdy. Chase Purdy,
agree.
I think he's going to be the only full-time driver.
Yes, he is.
KBM. I think
he is.
Not kind of that like Rev Racing KBM thing with all that. But maybe this might be the breakout season for Chase Purdy since he can have full focus. Maybe, I don't know. But I don't have high hopes for Chase Purdy. I never have. And I don't really have any high hopes either.
Yeah.
And along with the 51, with the new driver, I also don't have that many high hopes after what he did this. I don't have high hopes for KBM that season, unfortunately.
And you mentioned the driver, one of the part-time drivers, which I shouldn't be surprised, is Jack Wood.
Yeah.
Which, even if he had a full-time, he's had a few full-time rides, and he hasn't barely done much. He was a GMS. I'm kind of agreeing.
In, like, competition at all.
I don't know who the other drivers are going to be lined up for the 51, but I feel like the only driver who's going to be doing as good is Kyle Busch.
Oh, well, I did see something somewhere on the internet. I think it might have been, I don't know who or which journalist may have said something about it, but there is some possibility that Jimmy Johnson may be included in that little mix of drivers in that lineup for the 51. That's what I heard.
Here's what I'm iffy about on that. I like Jimmy Johnson. Don't get me wrong. I like Jimmy Johnson, but he barely had any truck. I don't remember. He barely has any truck experience. He only ran like only one truck race. He never did good in Xfinity, He only got what, one win in Xfinity?
Yep.
Only one win in Xfinity. Then he came with the Cup, got 7 championships, 83 wins, etc. We all know the story about Jimmy Johnson.
Yep.
In the Cup Series side, but I don't know how this is going to be in Truck Series. It's not going to be like Greg Piffle, who's won a Truck, if I remember correctly, won a Truck Series championship, and then come back, get back in full swing after being out of the trucks for so many years and win a race. I don't see that. I don't see that with Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
Because my main thing is he's barely had any truck experience. I mean, he's a champion. He can adapt, but I'm not sure. I still think Tyler Busch is still the main guy. Will still be the main guy there.
Yeah.
Hate to say it, but
No, he will. He will. I mean, that shouldn't come as a shock. Yeah, he will. All right. So,
what's your thought? Do you have any thoughts on that one, Stapleton?
I kind of agree. To be honest, like I don't, I get why that Carlos couldn't really do much. Because Chandler Smith, the guy that he liked, he's going to Xfinity. Nemechek, the guy that he liked, signed with Toyota. Koyhan, guy that he liked, signed with Toyota. But Carlos' bat was kind of turned against the wall, and had to make do of what he had. Of course, Chase probably went from Toyota to Chevy, but probably had sponsorship. And then Jack Wood is a Chevy driver, so that worked out, I guess. But KVM's good and all. I think they can adapt. I think they will at least be competitive. But I think it's going to be kind of like that one stretch of, like, I think 2017, 2018, 2019 with, like, Todd Gilliland and stuff like that. They're going to be fighting on the edge of a playoff spot. I don't think they're going to be that good next year.
Yeah, I agree. And for anyone to clarify, they have officially moved to Chevy.
yes.
I don't know if we fully clarified that.
I think it's, I mean, everybody's pretty much known that at this point.
We know that, but we didn't get clarified till now.
Nah, it's all right. Even without clarification, everybody would have already known. Alrighty, so there is one more piece of news that we do need to go over, but it has nothing to do with the racing world. It has simply something to do with what's going on around here. So, first
And
piece
I
of
feel
news.
like it will be-
piece. Hold up. Don't get ahead of yourself, co-host. First of all, I just do want to bring up something about the basically the kind of landscape of what of where, like, our provider. So the provider that I've been going through to upload the audio replays of this podcast, Sounder FM, their ad revenue will stop rolling in December 31st of this year, but they are officially shutting down in January 31st of 2023. But it's okay. It's not a big deal because they have managed to say, all right, if you want to move your podcast to another provider, go for it. I've already done it. So we are now I'm now officially uploading the podcast. I have each episode of this podcast through Anchor by Spotify. So special thanks to Anchor for being our next provider to upload our podcasts. So the other piece of news is the landscape of what our show is going to look like in 2023. We're adding a third panelist. It's actually the guy that's in here with us right now.
I was actually about to say we should have let him say it.
Surprise!
It's okay. I said it for him. You're welcome.
But yeah, you know, I used to do this in the past. I just say, I decide, you know what, screw it. And time slot works out, and it's good to be back. And if you like all my random shenanigans and random funny business, but I sometimes say random stuff, then hello. But it's good to be here, excited and appreciate the opportunity that Elijah and Wyatt have given me.
And I'm really looking forward to this. When he gave this idea, I kind of researched back to when it was Pit Stop Show and we had certain amount of people, and one of the main few was basically a lot Elijah and Nathan. We're some of the main ones a part of that.
I mean, I was a part of every single episode.
I know that. I know you were, but I meant like Nathan coming in and being a part of. You get what I mean, though.
Of course,
You get what
yes.
I mean. And I was usually the one that show up at the later on some of those when before I became a full on panelist member. But now I feel like with the three of us, this will seem right, and maybe later on down the line, with maybe a few more guests and stuff, we may have another good group of panelists back in this. But
We may.
as the now one of the co-hosts, I'm glad we have him aboard, and can't wait to start the next year off with him.
Absolutely. So speaking of that, we have only one final thing to do before we sign off for the rest of the year. Wyatt, Nathan, any final thoughts on this 2022 NASCAR season?
Love the trucks. Not a huge fan of Xfinity. Hated the Cup.
Wow. Negative.
Wow.
Mainly championships on that one, but the whole season was amazing. Next gen was unexpected, like we thought. Pretty good season. I just don't like the champion outcome.
Well, for me, I really enjoyed the year. I loved the next gen car. I loved it in testing. I loved it all season. It might have some problems, but that should be expected with a new car in first year. Hopefully they fix it during the off season. Hopefully drivers don't get hurt. Hopefully we don't have fires. Hopefully we can fix the Goodyear tire issues. If we can fix all those problems, from what I've seen at the mile halves, racing's pretty good. Super speedways, I like powers mostly double file and maybe 3 wide most of the time. I like that. They don't really shoot to the train that much. My only gripe is short tracks and road courses. They need to do something about that. It's funny how they built the car for road courses and road courses are kind of but
Other than Coda.
Oh yeah, I was about to say Coda was the best one.
Yeah, but the side of next year, I want a lane race next year again, like Glenn, because that was fun. I like lane races. But yeah, I can't wait. Last year Kyle lost 110 races. This year, 3 of my drivers won. I think 3 and had like 9 winners, or like 9 times, or 9 wins. Hopefully, this time next year I can be happy that either Lotus and Bell wins the 2023 Cup Series Championship.
Yeah. I'll say, this, I think I'll say this. In all of my years of being a fan of the sport, 20 years, I've never have been a part of a season to where the racing has just been so great and drama on and off the track was wild, crazy, weird, all the above. Never seen anything like it, never been a part of it. And now I get to say that I have. The next gen car, definitely we basked in its glory despite its imperfections in safety, more particularly the back end of the car, but eventually I digress. The Xfinity, of course, like I said, I didn't care too much for it, but whenever I watched, I mean, of course, the racing was good from time to time. And trucks itself was, I'd say, a pretty solid for the most part. But other than that, 2022 has just been an unbelievably crazy and amazing year. And I can't wait to see what 2023 has to offer. But alrighty. That pretty much is going to do it. We have officially completed the 2022 GTN season officially. And I want to thank you guys a lot for coming along on this ride. It definitely was wild, fun, crazy, really weird sometimes. But other than that, we stuck with it. We held on, and we got to this point. And I know Wyatt doesn't really like the outcome of what happened in the Cup side or even the Xfinity side, despite some of the other things that happened behind the scenes. But still, I'd say we had a really fun time nonetheless, and I can't wait for 2023. If you guys like this stuff, be sure to give it a like, and if you haven't considered subscribing yet, recommend you do so to keep up with some fine content coming out in the near future. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, be sure to hit that big green follow button so that way you don't miss a single future episode of GTN coming in 2023. And yeah, that pretty much is going to do for us. Thank you so much for watching and listening. On behalf of Wyatt Walker and Nathan Stapleton, I'm Elijah Leonard signing out saying, have a good rest of your 2022, and we'll see you right back here in 2023. Take care, everybody. Have a good night.
See ya.
Happy off season and merry off season and happy Christmas. And you get more of that